to the Smart Couple Show, Wednesday mornings, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. What in the hell is going on, everybody? How are you? What's the word? This show is about living a good life by having a good relationship. Life is harder when you have a shitty or challenging relationship that doesn't let up. You're supposed to have relationship challenges, but when you don't learn how to figure those challenges out and see them as opportunities, you're going to suffer a lot. So here at the Smart Couple, we are all about transforming your challenges into opportunities. To me, it's the winning play in partnership. Okay? It blows my mind that people don't play it this way, and then they complain and whine about how their partner's not doing it right or whatever. So we're trying to educate you. And that's why I developed the relationship school, to help you out, okay, to help you learn. We need this. We need this education because it helps us live a more fulfilling life. Wouldn't you agree? Life is more fulfilling when we educate ourselves and learn how to do something that we suck at or that we feel insecure around. We start to get a handle on things and we wrestle with it, and then we start to gain some confidence. And that self-confidence is attractive, sexy. People like that. You wear it well when you have some level of competency around partnership and conflict. It doesn't mean you never fight or things aren't hard or you don't get triggered all the fucking time or anything like that. It just means that you know how to deal with yourself and you know how to deal with this annoying person that you've partnered with. All right? It's not mystery here. Okay, let's get into Heather's question. What do you say? Good? You ready? All right. Heather from Hawaii asks, can you please clarify on why we shouldn't be striving to stay in a marriage forever? Okay, that's the kind of bottom line question. And she has some backstory here, which I want to read because this is important. I just finished listening to your latest episode, which was 107. Okay, so we're talking back 15 or 20 episodes about the point of marriage, because that's what that episode was about. Episode 107 is about what's the point of marriage anyway, because I didn't know the point. I was that guy that was like, I will never get married, ever, because it looks like a nightmare to me. I don't want that. Interesting, right? So she's saying, I just finished listening to your latest episode on the point of marriage, and it really triggered me. Here's why. You do all these amazing podcasts talking about long-term relationship and how to make it better and grow not only as an individual, but as a couple. Why wouldn't you want that for the rest of your life? Valid point. What is the point of trying to sustain a long-term relationship when your goal is 10 years or maybe 20 years and then you reevaluate? It seems to me that means giving up. Why wouldn't you strive for forever or 50 years? If you have a partner that is willing to grow and change with you the entire time, why wouldn't that be your goal? Why would you ever put into the universe otherwise? Why would we work so hard at having a great long-term relationship only to have in the back of our minds, it isn't forever? That seems like a bit of fear of commitment still, because in your mind, you already have an out. To me, that would be a great challenge to sustain a great relationship for 50 years. It would be work, yes, for sure, but well worth it. I am not talking about staying just to say you made it that far. I am, of course, talking about being truly fulfilled for the entire time and always growing to be your best selves. Okay, nice, Heather. She's got a really good point here, right? So I want to speak to this because I sometimes leave it out when I talk about partnership. Hey, we're in this, and if it doesn't work out, you can always bail. And she's saying, yeah, but dude, why wouldn't you just go all in forever? Well, I want to talk about this from two angles. So just to put it simply is nothing's really forever, and things are impermanent. If you've studied Buddhism at all, things don't last. And if you're on the growth path, you change. And your priorities change over time. You change over time. What you thought was really amazing 10 years ago is kind of lame now. The music you were into as a teenager, you don't listen to anymore. Now, if you never grow and you're not into growth and development, these are the people that stay married 50, 60 years because they just fall into a pretty deadened routine and they make it last. And that was our parents' generation and maybe even before, where it's like you just suck it up and you make it work because your church told you it's bad and wrong to get a divorce. Your society shamed you for even thinking about someone else or having a divorce. So if you're growing and developing yourself, it's just really unrealistic to think that you are going to stay the same person and over 50 years or 60, 75 years. I really like your intention here, though. I think I hold this aspiration in my heart with my wife, which is I say I'm married to her as long as I'm married to her. And that could be 75 years. That could be on our deathbeds. So I'm less worried about, for me, the commitment of like, I need that kind of commitment to somehow keep me in it when it's hard or something. I'm already in it. I'm all in. So, I mean, shit happens. And we can't predict this. So again, we could look at this from a business standpoint too, or team sports, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, or, which is kind of old school now, but a business, the Steve Jobs and the other Apple guy, okay, the behind the scenes guy. A good partnership lasts many, many years through the undulations of the market, right? A good business partnership. And sometimes business partners go their separate ways because one of them wants to sell the company and continue to challenge themselves to grow a new business or another thing. That doesn't necessarily mean a new relationship, but I don't know. This question is almost superfluous to me because I'm all in. And for me, when I say for as long as we're together, it doesn't necessarily, I'm like, sweet, I have an out. I don't think about it that way. I'm not relating to it that way. But I could see how one could interpret it that way. So I just want to encourage you, Heather, to take a stand for what you're wanting here, which is let's go all in forever and let's do it. And let's just stay in it, whether we're miserable or not. Let's just stay in there. And I think part of why I say this loosely, why I hold that commitment more loosely than what you're wanting here, is because I just know how human beings work. I study people for a living, and I watch them when they're challenged for many years, how hard it is on their nervous system and their body. And then if they're just staying in it forever because hey, I made a commitment and I'm just true to my word, my integrity is more important than my health, and I will die at the cross here because I made a commitment. You can kind of see where that starts to go, right? It's like I will suffer at the expense of myself just to keep a commitment. And if we take this in the micro level, I see people do this all the time in friendships. Hey, I'm supposed to meet you for lunch next week, and I changed my mind and I don't really want to go, and I'm going to resent you while we're having lunch and I'm going to be half present, but hey, I made a commitment, so I'm going to go. Because my commitment is my word. Feel free to live by some moral code where you want to be rigid like that. But watch yourself suffer in the process and override your sometimes what just doesn't serve you. You'll override that because, I got to keep a commitment because I said so. So a lot of people get sick staying in relationships because they made a commitment forever and their church or some external authority told them so. That's, I think, partly where my loosely holding the commitment is coming from, because I just see a lot of people blow that. So there you go, Heather from Hawaii. Thanks for your awesome, insightful question. Go back and listen to episode 107 if you haven't listened to that yet, so you know what I'm talking about and you know where her question's coming from. All right. And there's a little follow-up question that someone said is, Thanks for the episode on 107. I listened to that one. My partner doesn't want to get married, but I do. What made me realize is that the real problem is treading the line between relationships may not last forever and I am committed. I think my girlfriend reads me saying marriages shouldn't last forever as a way of hedging and not being emotionally committed to her. And this is a really good point, because this is what some people do with the commitment. See, my wife and I are in a secure relationship with or without the commitment. The commitment helps, but we're in a safe relationship. No one's leaving or abandoning. The fear of someone leaving the relationship isn't on the table like it is in the early stages of relationship, where it's like hedging our bets when we're dating, like, are you in or are you out? Once I decided to go all in with 2 feet, I just went all in. That's just how I operate. I waffled my ass off, however, for many years prior to that, because I was so scared to make a commitment. And for me, marriage wasn't like, I'm going to marry you until I feel till I feel bad, and then I'm out of here. That wasn't that wasn't how I was holding the commitment. I was holding the commitment in my heart, like, I choose you, woman, and you and me. Let's do this life together and see how far we can go. It's kind of more like that. So when you're dealing with some insecurities and you're dating, this is a little different conversation, because you can feel it when a person isn't all in and isn't 2 feet in. The other sensitive person can feel that, and it doesn't feel good. And your nervous system won't let down until you have a commitment like marriage. It doesn't have to be marriage, but like marriage is, marriage works. It works for me. I love marriage. A lot of people don't like it, and they're kind of rebelling against the institution of it, but who cares? Like, you're giving marriage power when you do that, like someone else's definition of it. Define it for yourself and go do it if that's what you want to do. Okay, there you have it. Action step here is define commitment for yourself. What does that mean to you? Is marriage mean forever? And if you loosen out of forever, what does it mean? Does it mean 50 years? Does it mean as long as we feel inspired? You probably don't want to say that, because you're going to be very uninspired sometimes in your relationship. You're going to be wanting to exit. And what I love about Heather's question is, we want to stay in the fire and burn through all of our fears and keep burning through and staying in it. I just like to leave the door open for reality, which is things happen. And so the forever thing doesn't land for me personally, but it might for you. So go explore that with yourself. And then if you've got a partner, explore your commitment. What does that mean to you, honey? Go check out your vows again. What did you say? What do you want to say now? What's true for you? I just know that I know that my marriage is benefiting my life tenfold. So I'm going to probably stay in it for as long as I'm alive, but I don't really know. Okay, hopefully this was helpful. Again, make sure you are subscribed to the podcast. You leave us a review if you'd be so kind, and you share it with one friend that that could benefit from this podcast. And thanks again for your ears. Talk soon.